Hey everybody, it's Monday, December 8th, 2025. Welcome to the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast, where we are ready for the playoffs. It's me, your man, MG Marcas Grant, joined by Michael F. Florio and LaQuan Jones. Happy Monday, gentlemen. Victory Monday for two of the three of us. The Niners were off, so.
You guys still took an L.
No, they actually got a dub because they moved up a spot in the playoff seedings thanks to the Packers. So shout out to the Packers, I guess.
Nobody cares.
Shout out to Toyota-thon Jordan Love, I guess.
That's
December
real.
Jordan Love, man. The Lexus sales to remember, Toyota, whatever sale he's a part of, he balls out in December.
See, here's the thing. I know it all like it's Toyota-thon, right? Like Toyota-thon is on, but then when he throws a pick, I'm like, well, it's not a December to remember. So like it goes back and forth. It can go either way with Jordan Love. We got slogans ready. Got things to do on the show today. Obviously, the fantasy regular season wraps up officially tonight. Eagles and Chargers at SoFi Stadium on Monday Night Football. That should be an interesting one, not only for fantasy playoffs, but for the real playoffs as well. A whole lot of things happened over the weekend on both the AFC and the NFC. So got the big questions, though, from Week 14. Kind of wrapping up the fantasy regular season, maybe some of the things we learned, some of the things we are expecting or hoping for the playoffs as well. And of course, as always, we'll do Drop Zone and Waiver Wire as we get toward the end of the show. But I want to start with some news headlines, as we always do. Tough one to watch on Sunday. Daniel Jones, who had been playing on a fractured fibula that doctors said he could not make worse by playing. Look, I'm just a guy who talks about fake football for a living, but I really feel like playing professional football on a broken leg, I don't know, doesn't seem great, but, you know. What do I know?
Yeah. You want to rehab 2 injuries now? Because that's exactly what's happening.
That's where he is, because he did suffer an Achilles injury in the Colts loss to the Jaguars. So he's obviously finished for the year. Yeah.
Because if he sat out, they're exactly where they are now, you know?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, but still.
I mean, like from a team standpoint, yeah, I don't think anything changed necessarily. From a personal standpoint, I mean, this is a guy who was angling to get a new contract. Now he's got a long rehab process in front of him. Who knows what his contract situation is going to be. So that part for Daniel Jones absolutely sucks. Fantasy-wise, though, Florio, does this mean it's a wrap on Colts pass catchers if we have Riley Leonard at quarterback?
Most likely, because I don't know. I put this out on Twitter yesterday. I don't know if the Colts win another game this year, because you look at their schedule. They get the Seahawks, the Niners, the Jags, and the Texans. 2 defenses that are up for best in the league in Houston and Seattle. The Jaguars are ascending, and then there's the 49ers. But I was waiting for a 49ers whiners comment or something. But I will say,
we're on to 14 days since the last crash out. That's pretty good.
I don't know. We've almost had him a couple times.
It's been close.
We're not going to talk about those.
I did go yesterday and look at the targets with Riley Leonard. And it does feel worth mentioning that Michael Pittman Jr. was targeted 10 times by him. Everyone else was 5 or less. So if you're I think Alec Pierce, it's over, right? He's way too volatile now with Riley Leonard. Pittman volume could save the day. I'm not writing off Tyler Warren, though, because the bar for tight end success is so low. And then, like, next week they get Seattle. That is the one weakness that they have, is covering tight ends. Kyle Pitts had a good game against them this past week. So I'm still writing up Tyler Warren as a start this week, but I think the rest of, even Pittman, like, he's just a volume, like, desperate kind of play. I think I would be trying to, especially against Seattle, trying to get away from the others.
Yeah, I started putting together a list of sleepers, and like I'm not going to put Tyler Warren obviously in the sleepers column. That, you know, people would laugh at me, but he's got a good matchup. I mean, the Seahawks, for all the things they've done well defensively, they have been beat up by tight ends. In fact, we saw it yesterday against Atlanta. I mean, Kyle Pitts had another good game for the Falcons there against Seattle. I mean, it didn't amount to much in the final score, but it was another good game for Kyle Pitts. So Tyler Warren, I think, is still very much in play. By the way, in case you were wondering, Brett Rippon is on the practice squad as the quarterback.
Hey.
If that does anything for you. I don't know.
No, it does not. I actually like Riley, though. Hopefully we don't have to go that route. Like Riley has some upside in himself. And I think what Florio was saying with Michael Pittman, he seems like the safest bet. And plus, Alec Pierce suffered an undisclosed injury towards the end of the game. So hopefully he's good and not banged up. But Josh Downs, he could be a deep, deep sleeper because I think he steps up now with Riley Leonard. Because when we look at him coming in, playing 3/4 of football, my boy completed more passes than Trevor Mid-Lawrence. So I would say this. He came in with confidence. He came in looking good, like plain and simple. I liked what I saw out of him, man.
I was distracted because you went to be so like you've gone away from William back to Trevor Mid-Lawrence. Like,
well, when you have a rookie quarterback look better than you on the other side of those 3/4,
he did not look better than him.
Yes, he did. There were some throws where I was
Riley Leonard came in.
Listen, it was the second quarter. He played 3/4. It doesn't matter what the score is. I'm looking and isolating on what he did himself. Like, my boy ran in a rushing touchdown. They have a type. And I think Riley comes in with some standalone value, and I like Pittman moving forward. But Josh Downs is a guy that I have my eye on.
It's easy to look good when you're down 3 scores, and the defense is playing off.
But when's the last time we've seen a third-string Colts quarterback come in and remotely look anything good? Anywhere near the bar of looking as a professional football player. Those are different.
Player. Like, yeah, maybe he could be good for the Colts moving forward, but for fantasy, I'm not trusting him in the playoffs.
No, but if you lost Daniel Jones, Jayden Daniels, you were down bad and limping into the playoffs. You got to throw your shots. Like, this dude has rushing upside.
There's other options on throwing shots out there.
Are you starting Riley Leonard in the playoffs?
If I have absolutely nobody else on the waiver wire, in one league, I'm looking at the waiver wire where Matt Ryan is the third option as a quarterback. Like, folks, are we serious? That's how down bad. It's either Cam Ward.
Flex, I'm sure.
You're toast anyway, then, if that's the thing.
But, like, I'd rather play JJ this week over him. I'd rather play Tyler Shuck over him.
I'm not starting JJ. We can get into it later, but I'm not starting JJ.
I did not expect this conversation to be so
I don't
robust.
think anyone is playing Riley Leonard in the fantasy. But even the pass catchers, like, I don't want to trust anyone but the tight end because the floor is so low for all of them.
Some of the interceptions he almost threw and the one he did throw, like the one he was trying to get Tyler Warren in the end zone. It's like he's being doubled, so it's going to be more difficult for Riley to go out there and try to target him heavy, like week to week for the rest of the week. I look at Josh Downs as the underneath guy where he was looking and giving him a ton of looks trying to get Josh Downs involved in this offense. So Pittman and Downs is a deep sleeper for me. I look at as guys that could be viable as flex options if they have no other options.
The other thing I would caution when it comes to Riley Leonard is the Jaguars were 0% prepared to face Riley Leonard. They spent all week game planning for Daniel Jones, and then
still a good defense, though.
It's still a really good defense. They're playing really, really well.
Prepared or not. It's a third-string rookie quarterback.
But it's sort of different, though, when you've got a guy with kind of a, maybe similar but different skill set. You just don't know. You know nothing. You got no film on the guy, right?
Yeah.
None that you prepared for. So, I'm curious now. Obviously, he's probably going to be the starter this week. Very curious if...
Get Joe Flacco in here, man.
Remember Anthony Richardson?
I have Richardson stashed in IR spots because I was like, what if he comes back in the playoffs?
He ain't coming back in the playoffs.
Is that Anthony Richardson's music? Nah, I'm not ready for that. Nah.
By the way, I was looking at what you guys were talking. I was looking up this post from JP Acosta that I sent you guys, right? Since the Jacoby Myers trade, Trevor Lawrence is first in the NFL in passing success rate. I feel like you got to give him his props on that, LaQuan.
Oh, absolutely. I'll give him props for that. Like, I like him for fantasy right now. I told you guys last episode I am rooting for him because obviously I have to rely on him right now. I think we see this offense coming into
This isn't like I really like you. This isn't I need you.
I need you, bro. I need you. I need you to go out there and be William or Trevor or whoever he thinks he is. I need him to go out there and ball.
I know we're talking BTJ later. I'm pretty excited for that conversation.
I honestly did not think this Daniel Jones conversation would go as deep as it did. I really didn't. I just figured it'd be like,
look, I like Riley. I like Riley. That's all right.
Moving on. Jayden Daniels suffered another injury, or I guess re-aggravated. It looked like the elbow injury that kept him out for a month. It was all bad for the Commanders on Sunday. You know, they get thumped, they get shut out. Zach Ertz is done for the year. Probably that could be a career ender for Zach Ertz, sadly. The ACL. I'm realizing yesterday that both Austin Eckler and Zach Ertz have suffered brutal, possibly very likely career-ending injuries playing for the Commanders this year, and that's tough. But Jayden Daniels does leave with an elbow injury, and I mean, LaQuan, seriously, I don't even know what now, because if you're the Commanders, is there really a desire or a need to bring him back? You're 3-10. You are out of it.
You lost Ertz, your most reliable pass catcher.
You've lost Ertz. I mean, what do you do? I mean, are you stashing Jayden Daniels? Because even if he comes back, what does he offer you? I really, truly don't know what I would do if I had Daniels in this situation.
I'm not starting him. I think we can honestly add him to the drop zone, because it's are you going to take that risk again? Starting him in the playoffs, do or die? He looked fine up into that injury point, but then now we're starting to question, do they shut him down for the season? Get ahead of it now. This week in waiver wire, you will have to attack and get your quarterbacks, Riley Leonard. You will have to get the Shedeur Sanders. You will have to go out there and get what's left on the wire. I'm even looking back at Sam Darnold in some of the one quarterback leagues where he had that down stretch, but then we see him perform yesterday and put up big, QB1 points. So I'm starting to shuffle and try to get ahead of this, of where I'm closing the chapter on Jayden Daniels. It's more so of hey, we drafted him high in drafts. I'm paying for it now. I didn't really, foresee this happening because of how good he was last season. But now it's I'm in the fantasy playoffs. I have him as my quarterback. What do I do? I'm probably going to drop him and go pick up another defense, to be honest, if I want to look ahead and get these schedules, right at the defensive spot in the leagues that I have.
Florio, we were all pretty high on Jayden Daniels. I think you were probably higher than all of us on Jayden Daniels. I've seen some comments, maybe most notably Michael Strahan, saying that Jayden Daniels has to alter his playing style. And that was one of the concerns coming out of college, right? That he took some really big hits.
The Sonic rings, Marcus.
The Sonic rings. I mean, that was a constant meme with Jayden Daniels when it came to his college tape. Looking at next year, are we still looking at Daniels just because of his ability as a top 3, top 5 fantasy quarterback? Are you still willing to do that next year?
I think we'll get a discount on him because of the injuries and stuff this year. I don't think he's going to be top 3, maybe not even top 5. Because obviously Josh, Lamar, Jalen Hurts could be going ahead of him. Mahomes could be going ahead of him. Him and Burrow is an interesting one because Burrow's missed a lot of time. Drake May, so yeah, he might not even be top 5, but I'm still very much so willing to draft him because I feel the same way with Jayden that I was saying last week with Jackson Dart. You got to coach him to sometimes maybe look to protect himself a little bit, but you don't want to fully take that out of his game because then you're taking away what makes him special. And we've seen a lot of quarterbacks kind of have to fine line this, right? Josh Allen was a huge one when he was running recklessly his first couple of years. Lamar Jackson, people used to say, needs to learn how to slide and get out of bounds better and stuff. So I think it comes with experience and knowing when to pick your shots, when you can do the big crazy run and when you just go down, stuff like that. So I'm not sure. I think the future's still very, very bright for Jayden, but this is a lost year. And I'm not playing Jayden the rest of the way because even next week against the Giants, fantastic matchup. You just never know when he might leave the game. Plus, he only ran 4 times and the passing numbers were bad yesterday. So what makes him special is the running. And if you can't count on that, I think it's best to play it safe and get away in fantasy.
I mean, let's say he does play next week. As you reminded me, he played the Giants. We have 2 quarterbacks who are just kamikaze artists out there, man. I mean, between Jayden Daniels and Jackson Dart, just 2 guys who play with no regard for their own personal safety. Can be fun at times, can be kind of scary at times.
High risk.
The only thing I would say with Daniels, and maybe you guys agree or don't, I don't know, but I'm at the point now where next year, if I do draft Jayden Daniels, he's one of those guys where I probably double up on quarterback, where I probably come back later on in the draft and I get just maybe not as exciting, not as sexy, but just a more stable quarterback, right? Like getting Jayden Daniels and pairing him with, just Jared Goff or whatever, just as an example. Somebody like that, so that if something happens, I'm not just scrambling to find somebody at the position. So, I don't know. Last bit of news, Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod? I don't remember I think it's Tyrod Taylor. Either way, he didn't finish the game against the Miami Dolphins, left with a groin injury. Brady Cook, who I will not lie to you, I had to look him up, took over as the quarterback. Had to take over as the quarterback for the Jets. I really was trying to come up with a question, Florio, and all it says on the rundown is just Jets. I don't even know. Do with that what you will.
I'll tell you right now, if we have to see because look, Tyrod left with a groin injury. Those tend to linger. I think we're planning on not having Tyrod available this week. Look, if it's Brady Cook, you sit all your Jets. You must play the Jaguars defense.
Even Breece Hall?
Yeah, I think you sit Breece Hall. The Jags have been the best run defense this season against running backs. So I do peek behind the curtain. I do have Breece Hall but it's obviously like an option dependent. You're not sitting him for anyone. But if Justin Fields suits up for the Jets next week,
don't do it.
My Jayden Daniels teams are going to be streaming Justin Fields. Like, I'm playing him over Jacoby Brissett against Houston for sure next week.
I literally on Sunday morning before kickoff dropped Justin Fields from one of my teams. I'm like, well, I'm not going to need him anymore. It's going to be fine. And then I see that Tyrod left the game and I'm like,
look at QB right now. It is bad. Like,
it is bleak.
I'd rather take a shot on Justin Fields
Riley Leonard over Justin Fields. Yes.
You are crazy.
Yes. I will take Jacoby Brissett over Justin Fields, 100%.
Absolutely.
Against the Houston Texans.
Yes. It doesn't matter. He's going to throw the ball 57 times. It doesn't matter. He's going to air it out.
Watch them hold Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes to single-digit fantasy points.
BTA on Josh Allen and a very competitive game against Patrick Mahomes. Yes, I've watched this defense manhandle and cause chaos in the trenches. But here's the thing. Jacoby Brissett just faced the Rams who just did the same thing, and he still went out there and put up touchdowns.
So I'm looking at this as... Look, I've been on Jacoby the whole season. But they're not. The Texans defense is the best in the NFL.
It is a better defense than the Rams. It's a better defense.
What was about to come out of his mouth about the Rams defense was about to be something less than elite. That
they're not as good as Houston. Denver's not as good as Houston. Houston is the best in football, in my opinion.
You can objectively say the Rams are not as good a defense as the Texans. It's not shade on the Rams.
It's Woosah time. Okay, we're good. No crash out.
We can talk about 31 teams only on this pod.
We weren't even trying to get you to crash out. Like, we were just saying.
I thought Florio was going to say that the Rams defense is not that good, or it's not elite, or it's not.
I said they're not as good as Houston because I think Houston is the best in football.
I had to wait, and there's a little delay here. I had to wait until it fully registered, and then I heard you. We're good.
Anyway, so we're out on the Jets. We'll see if Justin Fields gets the start, and I have a feeling this is not the last time we're going to have this conversation about Justin Fields this week. Big questions for week 14. First one. I don't know which one of you wants to field this. LaQuan, I'll send it to you.
Sweet.
Is Lamar Jackson back? Had his best fantasy outing in a while, right? I mean,
most rushing
21
yards.
points, the best fantasy game he's had since week 9. Is he back?
I would say the arrow's pointing up because, I'd say we still have a limited rushing mobile Lamar. Like, he's more protective. He's running out of bounds. He's sliding and stuff. We're not getting, Lamar that can just run off 20, 25 yards. Because if you watch some of his runs yesterday, he was very cautious. There were some plays where I'm like, oh, he's going to take off. We got him back. But then he didn't. He kind of just was like, let me protect myself, which is smart, which I like heading into the fantasy playoffs. I need a quarterback that's still going to do the things that he did yesterday and be smart and conservative with his body. Not like Jackson Dart. Now, moving on, Lamar, I would say this. I trust him if he's going to keep on taking the easy shots. Him getting that rushing touchdown, his first one since week 1, that was the icing on top. We needed that because anything else, he still was missing some throws.
That's a wild statement, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's one of those.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, but it was just one of those things, he is still not fully back. The arrow's pointing up, but I can trust him if he's going to make these smart decisions to protect himself.
Yeah. It's improving.
He gets the Bengals, too.
You're right. it's getting better. The schedule, there's some spots to take advantage of. My fear is we're not going to see the full Lamar Jackson until 2026. Like, I just don't.
Which is fine.
That's fine.
I think both things are true.
It's not fine if you're trying to get to the fantasy playoffs, but it's fine.
But if he keeps what he did yesterday, we're on the good course. 21 fantasy points. He give me 20 for the rest of the fantasy playoffs. I'm cooking.
You're fine. No, you're absolutely fine. But yeah, the big blow up 25, 30 point game, the Lamar Jackson.
He's not your anchor anymore. He's a QB1. He's not your anchor anymore, which sucks.
Florio, you have been big on Justin Jefferson. You have held the line on Justin Jefferson.
My man still got the sword. He is ready for JJ McCarthy.
Going into Sunday, there was a lot of people, and I was probably among them, saying, hey, look, it can't get any worse, right? I mean, 2 catches for 4 yards for JJ last week. And that's the thing, it didn't. He had 2 catches for 11 yards this week.
Hey, yo.
This is 2 worst games of his career.
I'm going to say words that seemed unthinkable in August. Is Justin Jefferson droppable?
Nope. In fact, I think he's playable next week because what happened this past week that I did not foresee coming is they won 31-0. Like, this was not a game where they had to throw the ball much at all. On top of that, JJ McCarthy, and I said this on the Sunday show yesterday, if you look at his game log since he has returned, he's either played a top defense or he's facing a defense for the second time. He had his best matchup of a career yesterday and had his best game of the career. So I do think, I'm not saying he's good, but I'm saying that against bad defenses, he can be serviceable. He gets the Cowboys this week, who I know they're not the same defense they were earlier in the year, but they still get cooked through the air, especially against wide receivers. Then they get the Giants, and then in championship week, the Lions. I don't know about that Giants game, but I will tell you the Cowboys and the Lions, if it's looking 31-0, it's going to be with the Vikings chasing points, and they're going to have to throw a whole bunch. They're not going to finish with JJ throwing for, what did he throw for, like 120 yards in this game? 163 on 23 attempts. They're going to have to throw more than that this week against the Cowboys when they're catching up. So, yeah, I don't think Justin Jefferson is a wide receiver 1 or even a 2, but in a lot of my leagues where we play 3 wide receivers and a flex or 2, it's far too hard for me to get it. Look, if you're in a league where you play 2 wide receivers and that's it, sure, you could get away from Justin Jefferson. But if you're in a league where you have to play 3 to 5 wide receivers, like a lot of my leagues are, I am still going to play Justin Jefferson against the Dallas Cowboys.
His weekly totals starting in week 9, 47 with a touchdown. That's good. 37, 61, 48, 4-11.
Yo.
Oof, that is rough.
Like, I don't think you drop.
That's rough.
You don't drop him.
I mean, okay, yeah, maybe I'm being hyperbolic, right, with the whole dropping him, but man, it is rough.
Like, my boy, like, where's the sun? Like, I guess this week against Dallas, but we know they're going to take away that run game. Like, we know Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones, they're going to be suffocated. Also, this Vikings O-line has been trash. And honestly, with the improvement of Dallas's pass rush and stopping the run, they're going to get after and harass that boy. I am not starting Justin Jefferson on my birthday just to ruin my birthday for the simple fact that his name is still ringing bells. I'm sorry, Florio. I can't roll with you. I can't roll with you starting him.
Fantasy is a week-to-week game. I don't care what the last 5 weeks have been like.
I am looking at what we have seen in front of us, and JJ McCarthy is not it, bro. Like, if he's having his career day, giving 2 touchdowns to Josh Oliver, which helped absolutely nobody on earth.
We're knocking him for who he throws the touchdowns to?
Absolutely, because Justin Jefferson is in question. You don't play 4 quarters of football, and your receiver has 2 catches. That makes no sense to me, bro.
The Cowboys are still top 5 in the last month in fantasy points allowed to receivers. They get cooked through the air.
And JJ McCarthy is below that bar. Yes.
We will revisit this. I'm sure this feels like a conversation that gets revisited later in the week too, for sure. Okay, so not droppable.
No.
Whether or not he's startable, we will continue to debate because otherwise, again, this would be the whole show.
I'm looking at a lot of. I don't have a lot of Justin Jefferson because I wasn't drafting him. But like, I look at the teams. Look, if you didn't make the playoffs with him, this doesn't matter. But in a couple of my leagues where those teams did make it, like in my home league, the Justin Jefferson team made it. We have 3 receiver spots and a flex spot. I'm looking at his roster like, yeah, there's not 4 wide receivers on your team that I would play over Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's going to be the hard part is that, like, I think people are going to be painted into a corner with him. So, yeah, hold your breath. Hope for the best, I guess, coming up this week. LaQuan, I'm going to ask you this because you are the Rams aficionado amongst us. And also, you seem to not enjoy our own personal happiness. Is Kyren Williams in danger of losing touches? I mean, you were out here on Front Street on Blue Sky yesterday promoting the fact that it's a 2-man backfield. We all got to live with it. Like, I understand that. And I've been talking about Blake Corum for weeks now, but like, don't just be a thief of joy 2 weeks before Christmas. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, is this what it is now with Kyren?
I don't think he's going to lose touches. I think you just have a more involved backup running back. Like, I've been screaming this since July. This needs to be a 2-man system.
Well, yes, you were screaming for Jarquez Hunter in July.
I was screaming for 3 running backs to be involved.
That's even worse.
It doesn't matter. Last time we did that was 2020, and we were a top 10 rushing attack. That's exactly what we are now, a multiple back system. That's what we need. And you're seeing Blake Corum blossom into this amazing RB2. If he needs to step into RB1 duty this late in the season, if Kyron's banged up, we do not skip a beat. So absolutely, moving forward, you have to pick him up. Marcus, you were ahead of this last week about him breaking out. You have to pick him up. He is entering flex territory right now.
Florio, I would like an analysis of that doesn't have to do with the Rams making a playoff run. Are we worried about Kyren Williams?
Yeah, a little, definitely, because he suffered, I believe, an ankle injury last week, and the Rams came out and were like, we're going to try to limit his touches. And like the Rams, the division is very far from wrapped up, but they're going to be in the playoffs. So I think McVay is like being like, all right, and Corum is playing very well as well. So yeah, it doesn't hurt to try to get your guy healthy. It hurts for fantasy purposes because as like you're still playing Kyren, and Corum is still just like a deeper flex option. Like you could play him, but in the realm of outcomes is him getting single-digit fantasy points. So it's not a good thing for fantasy.
I mean, I think I have a league where I started him. I flexed him in the Kings Classic, but that's a deep league,
14.
Man.
I'm about to say it's a 14-16. Yeah,
it's a 14-team league. It's pretty deep. But yeah, I did start him, and
I'll say this though, Kyron's not losing the red zone opportunities. Like
that's the thing.
He's still involved. Like you're still going to get 6 out of him. And like the good thing about it is he's on a very good offense.
He is losing the goal line looks, but not in the way that traditionally a running back loses. He's losing to Devontae Adams.
He's losing to Devontae Adams. Yeah.
Well, yeah, true. This is the automatic tush push for us. But I would say this, like last week when Corum got in, right? Before that game, very, very many weeks before that, Corum was struggling to get in the end zone. But when he got in last week, that's only because Kyren was on the sideline getting his ankle checked. Now we see the change of tides where there was a little bit more wiggle room for both of them to be fantasy relevant and be deployed in the red zone. They both were able to have the red zone duty on their table, and they both were able to succeed at it. So I'm looking at it like this. He is starting to form this 1-2 punch. McVay is starting to lean into this running back duo. This is everything we need against Seattle. This is everything we need next week on my B-Day against the Lions. Like, this is going to be one of the greatest gifts McVay can give to me. Give me the RB duo unleash. Make DeMonte and Gibbs look like the under subpar running back duo in this game. Lock it up.
I'm just imagining Sean McVay being like, and so what? Hey, guys, did we get anything for LaQuan? Did we get something for LQ?
They sent me this Aaron Donald GOAT edition, man. Shout out to the Rams admin, man. I really do appreciate you guys sending me this.
Very cool.
Awesome.
No, that's legit cool. That is legit cool.
No, it is.
Last one. This is something we talked about in a text chain here, but Florio, is Michael Wilson Arizona's best receiver? And part B, would you start him against the Texans next week?
Yeah, that one I'm not as sold on, but yes, I do that because when you watch him, and this was like, I feel very vindicated today because I'm always a little hesitant when it comes to putting out opinions on prospects and stuff, because that's not like my lane, but I've been doing so more in the last few years. And my biggest knock on Marvin Harrison Jr. was once he catches the ball, that's all the production you're getting. Like, there's not a whole lot of after the catch ability. There's not a lot of wiggle and stuff. And to me, and Marcus, you might remember this, Michael Wilson was like my favorite sleeper in that draft class. Because I was saying like, all he can play, he just has to stay healthy, which he didn't do in college. But Wilson has that wiggle and ability after the catch, and I think he's just a little bit more versatile. You can move him around in the slot, put him out wide. Now, there are things Marv does better. Like Marv might be a better contested catch guy. He might be better in the red zone. I think the jury's still out there, but it's hard to look at this production in the 3 games that Michael Wilson has put up without Marvin Harrison. I tweeted it out yesterday, but it's something like he's averaging like 140 yards per game or something wild like that. But on the other part of that is he's facing the Texans, who just shut down Rashee Rice. They've shut down a lot of big name quarterbacks, I think we got to look at the Texans defenses the last 4 to 6 weeks, because they have been a completely different unit in that timeline. And that coincides, I believe, with DeMeco Ryans I could be wrong on this, but I believe he gave up play calling and was like, I need to be more of a CEO type coach. And then their defense has just caught fire. So in that stretch, they're the best defense in football. So Wilson and Jacoby, I would say, are very option dependent and more ones that I would try to get away. If obviously you need to have someone else that you feel good about. Like, I'm not sitting Wilson for anybody, but it's the Texans scare me a lot. And it's do or die now, right? Like, there's no tomorrow if Michael Wilson goes out there and gives you like 6 fantasy points.
So, Florio, I got you. A little this or that. Are you going to go Michael Wilson or Justin Jefferson?
I'd probably take the shot at Justin Jefferson.
Really? Lock it in. Lock it in.
I'm writing about both of them today, subject to change as I dive into it more.
Lock it in.
I'm torn on that one.
Nope. I am not doing it. I'm going Michael Wilson. I'm going Jacoby. You put some spice on that Jacoby percent too, and you said I saw that.
Look, I've been a Jacoby stan for years, but it's the Houston Texans. Like, and the thing about Jacoby, and I loved him, and I say this every time I talk about him as a start, you're hoping for that garbage time and that, all right, we're down 3 scores and he's just going to be chucking it around. If he doesn't have success in that against the Texans, you're looking at a very low floor.
Yeah. But it's very likely they're going to be down a couple scores.
No. They're going to be, one, it might be a close game because the Texans don't score. They're a terrible red zone offense.
They are a terrible red zone
And if it's close, I mean, they don't score like more than 20 points.
Well, seeing as how I'm rolling into the Kings Classic playoffs as the 2 seed, and I don't know what's happening with Drake London. I know. I don't know what's happening with Drake London. I need Michael Wilson to stay hot. I just need him to stay hot.
I play you, Marcus, in the Fantasy Live. I believe it's going to be me and you if things work out. But Jacoby and Jayden are my QBs right now. I'm checking that waiver wire.
Right, I'm rocking
Riley
with,
Leonard. Let's go.
I'm rocking with LQ's boy William Lawrence.
William, let's go.
He went off.
So we'll see
Against me. We played each other this week in a game that didn't matter.
Fantasy regular season comes to a close after the Monday Night Football game, and then we're off to the playoffs. But figures it's time to maybe kind of look back a little bit. So, LaQuan, did you have a big takeaway or multiple takeaways potentially from what you saw in the first 14 weeks?
I'm happy with my decision to go heavy wide receiver because a lot of up and down with big name wide receivers, injuries, et cetera, at the quarterback position. I think heavy wide receiver or the hero wide receiver strategy has worked out very well for some folks heading into the playoffs. So the first 14 weeks, if you had up and down with a Justin Jefferson or even ups and down with the AJ Brown a couple of weeks back when it was dark and people were crashing out about the Eagles offense. But I feel like, the biggest takeaway is that I'm going into the fantasy playoffs with wide receiver depth, and I'm thankful for that. Day 1 in August, I said my redraft leagues, I'm going heavy wide receiver, and it has panned out well.
That's not bad. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of the move now. Everybody's just like loading up on wide receivers, especially because in leagues like Florio, you can play 3 of them potentially and a flex.
5 is crazy. Yeah, 5 is dope, though. I kind of like that.
Florio, what did you learn from this one?
I kind of had the exact opposite as LaQuan. Like I want a running back early in my drafts next year because you look at the top score, like CMC's been awesome. Jonathan Taylor's awesome. Bijan and Gibbs are going to be your first 2 picks next year, I think. Achan's been great. James Cook has been great. After that, it starts to thin out a little bit, right? Like Josh Jacobs has been a little hit or miss. Kyren, we were talking a lot about. ETN, Henry. So I want that elite running back, and then I'm going to load up on wide receivers. But the biggest thing with my teams, at least this year, the ones I feel really good about coming into the fantasy playoffs have one of those 6 or 7 running backs that I just said. So I want to try to ensure that I get one of these top guys probably in the first round next year.
Yeah, I did go. I mean, I've been a hero RB guy for a while now, and it feels like this year it actually has worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah.
I am of the opinion now, and I used to not draft multiple. If I'm playing in a 1 QB league, I would just draft 1 quarterback and then try to, get somebody off the waiver wire when I needed to. I think I'm just drafting 2 quarterbacks regardless from here on out. We've seen even the big name guys have struggles at times, right? I mean, we just talked about Lamar Jackson. I know he was hurt, but he came back and he hasn't looked the same. Patrick Mahomes has been good for the early part of the season. The last few weeks have been maybe not so great for Mahomes. I mean, even the guys that we thought were going to light it up have had issues. We talked about Jayden Daniels and his injury issues. And I think you're seeing more people just sort of have that insurance policy. And so I think I have to go away from the strategy of just drafting a quarterback and making it work on the waiver wire. I'm very glad that I've been able to pick up Trevor Lawrence, and it's worked out very well the last few weeks. A little bit of that was sort of luck of the draw, right? So I think I want to have that insurance policy in my back pocket.
One question for you guys, and you could call me a homer if you want, but it's factual. Like, Josh Allen is clearly the best fantasy quarterback. Is he worth a second round pick? Because right now there's 1 QB within 60 points of him, and it's Mahomes, who's almost 40 behind him.
Second round, I could still get that elite running back he was talking about, and I don't know, that's high. Because like he will have to go mid or early second round, because he ain't. Because
he's kind of like the Trey McBride of tight ends. Like
he's your anchor. You're getting like 30 plus fantasy points like 2-3 weeks in a row. Like that's what you have on the table with him. But I get why he'll be drafted that high, but me personally, no.
Which comes back to my theory that we have to change quarterback scoring so that this conversation doesn't happen, right?
Why? I believe it.
No, because here's the thing. Like, we all, like, if you say that Jahmyr Gibbs, right, is the best fantasy running back in the game, right? Or if you say that, just so we don't have a crash out, Puka Nacua is the best fantasy wide receiver. I'm doing this for the sake of the show.
He's number 2.
Right? But whatever. The fact is, if you draft those guys in the first round, it's not considered a strategic disadvantage. So why is it that the position that's considered the most difficult to play in sports, that is considered the most important in the NFL, why is it a strategic disadvantage to draft that player early? That doesn't make sense.
Why
so
everyone should play Superflex?
No, Superflex. My argument in Superflex is Superflex doesn't increase the value of quarterbacks. It just creates scarcity. No. It just creates scarcity. Basically, what happens is everybody's just like, I got to get a quarterback. So like in round one or 2, like 10 quarterbacks are gone. Like it hasn't made anybody better. They're just going in. They're going in the same order. They're just going earlier. That's all.
Well, yeah, but if we only played 1 running back, you wouldn't be seeing, or 1 wide receiver, you wouldn't be seeing them go.
Right, but even like tight end, right? Even like the idea of taking Brock Bowers, for instance, this year in the first round, you're kind of like, I don't know. Like you just weren't willing to do that because we haven't created value. We've created scarcity, and those are 2 different things.
Yeah, but I'd argue that that's what we're doing at running back and wide receiver when we're only playing 1 quarterback and we're playing.
But I would also argue that that's natural scarcity just because of the way the position is used. We're creating artificial scarcity by what we've set up in terms of the structure of the draft.
I love Superflex is my favorite
This is an off-season conversation. I'm taking up too much time with it. Anyway.
I was going to add to it. But I was like, nah, it's taking too much time. But go on.
It's taking too much time. I was going to talk about biggest fantasy playoff surprises and busts. We can do that later on in the week because we got so much stuff to get to in this one. Let's do some fantasy trust levels real quick. Are these guys worth a playoff start? We've already sort of argued that with some guys already in this one. LaQuan, Jared Goff coming out here to LA to take on the Rams on Thursday Night Football. Really big game for both those teams. Would you start Jared Goff in week 1 of the playoffs?
Yes, Amon-Ra seems to be healthy. You see him at full strength. I do think that there's opportunities for Jared Goff to put up a high-end QB2 performance.
All right. Florio, CJ Stroud going against the Cardinals, despite having a bad red zone offense.
It's very option dependent there for me. Like, I'm pulling up his game logs right now. He hasn't scored 15 fantasy points since week 8. And since he's returned, he scored 9 and 12.6. Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Well, I think the argument against CJ Stroud is they just need him to be good enough, and that defense can take care of the rest. So, like, just don't lose it for us.
He's the opposite of like Dak and Burrow.
Right, where those guys have to go out and win the game for you. CJ Stroud, like, just don't lose it. Just be good enough. Every now and then make some plays, and our defense will take care of the rest of that. Seriously. LaQuan, would you start Ashton Genty against the Eagles on the road against the Eagles?
Yes. I say that only because we've seen him get more involved in the passing game. PPR leagues out there, we love to see that, the running backs get targeted. So, yeah. And plus, Jalen Carter's not there in the middle, clogging it up. I mean, shoulder on both shoulders, surgery on both shoulders. Yeah, doing the Harlem Shake too fast or something. I don't know. But yeah, I like Ashton Genty now.
Yeah, he's getting more involved in the passing game, which is nice. I'm looking at his rushing totals the last 2 weeks. Actually, here the last 4 weeks. Week 11, 7 yards. Week 12, 50. All right. Week 13, 31. And then yesterday, 30. So the rushing numbers not great, but the target shares is a lot better for sure. Florio, DeAndre Swift against Cleveland.
I think so. As someone who has DeAndre Swift on a good amount of teams that have made the playoffs, I have to, right? Like, I don't have other options that I'm like, yeah. But also, I do like DeAndre Swift in this one because the Bears have shown us they were running the ball with less than 30 seconds to go in a game where they were down a touchdown. Like, they're going to be committed to the run no matter what. We just saw Tony Pollard run all over this Browns defense. Did not see that coming.
Why? Why did he do that?
Yeah, I have no idea.
It was wild.
Swift gets targets too, so I do. This is a game where the Bears should have a lead, I would imagine, and they run the ball a lot.
All right. So DeAndre Swift is in. LaQuan, Terry McLaurin against the New York Football Giants.
Yes, only because last week, not yesterday's game, last week he looked healthy. I'm not quite sure about Mariota's complete ceiling in this game, but I'm starting Terry. He's healthy. He's getting the targets. He looks great. He looks physical after the catch. He looks good to go.
All right. So you can start him with Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
That was weird, right?
I forgot about that.
That was strange, right? That all of a sudden Chris Collinsworth and Mike Tirico were Mariota. I'm like, wait, what?
Apparently he is the one.
So the quarterback himself is the one who said, because he's been in the league for years.
Bijan went back to.
He goes back and forth. He's Bijan. I think he's just trolling us.
Kamara. Remember Travis Kelce tried us? Kelson.
Yeah, I feel like Bijan. I think
he
he's
became
just
Hermione on a random Sunday night.
So I have no idea. Florio, Christian Watson, who looks like the RB1 in Green Bay, at Denver.
Yeah, this is one that I'm going to try really hard to get away from, but I'm looking at a couple of leagues where it's similar to it's the ones I was talking about, right? Where you play 3 wide receivers and then there's 2 flex spots, and on those teams, I'm looking at okay, on one I could plug in Wan'Dale Robinson to get away, but then on the other it's Darnell Mooney. I don't want to do that.
Ew.
So it really it's one that I very much so. If you're in a 2 wide receiver league or even a 3 wide receiver league, yes, I think you could. I have one team like that where I have Watson and I'm gonna get away from him no problem. But then if it's in a deeper league, you might just have to roll the dice out there, understanding that the floor is low, but it only takes one big play for him to have a nice day.
Yeah.
Watson or Jefferson, Florio?
Jefferson.
All right.
I love that you keep coming back to it. Like I respect the game.
I'm just curious where the range is. I'm learning.
I mean, matchups, they decide a lot, right?
If they're scared, I understand. This is a scary one. It's Denver, but the other one is Houston
in
as
Denver
well.
too.
All right. I feel like we can play a game with this like later on in the week where we just like, no, I mean like, where does this guy rank or something like that. We just list a bunch of wide receivers.
We should do that on like Wednesday or Thursday with a few tricky, because there's a lot of tricky players this week. Jacoby being one of them.
Wan'Dale Robinson's one of them. I like Wan'Dale. Look at his volume this last couple weeks.
I would play him over Watson.
I appreciate it when a plan comes together, so we have content for the week. That's great. LaQuan, Emeka Egbuka. I'll give you a combo deal. Emeka Egbuka and Baker Mayfield against the Falcons. Either, neither, or both.
Baker, yes. Emeka, no. He almost broke this. He had that touchdown in his hands. And
you're going to crash out over Emeka Egbuka?
That was on because I started him when I was like, I know in my heart I should not be starting him, but I have to because Wan'Dale is on a bye. That literally would have been the start. Wan'Dale would have been starting. Actually, he's going to start over Emeka Egbuka. No, I cannot trust it against Atlanta, where at one point of time in the season, we were like, oh, this is the scariest secondary against wide receivers at the wide receiver position. No, I can't trust it, okay? It's the Mike Evans show, week 15. That's what we're locking in.
Baker has thrown 3 touchdowns every game he has played Raheem Morris's Falcons defense. 3 times he's played him, 3 touchdowns in all.
Ooh,
but
interesting.
Baker, I'm going to stick to this. I watched every Egbuka target yesterday. I think Baker is the problem here, not Egbuka. I don't think Baker's healthy.
Maybe not. I also was, I was checking in our pal Matt Harmon, James Coe over at Reception Perception. We're talking about Egbuka recently, and losing Mike Evans has hurt in multiple ways. Obviously, you don't have a big target, a guy to roll coverages to, but also because earlier in the season, it was a lot of Egbuka working out of the slot. And then since Chris Godwin has come back, it's pushed him out to the outside where it's a lot of tighter window throws, right? He's not winning quite as decisively in his matchups.
Ball sailing over his head.
Mm-hmm. But whose fault is that?
No,
because there's no chemistry built with him playing out wide. All college, he's been a freaking slot merchant. Now Godwin's back and healthy.
But it's not like Baker is lighting it. Baker hasn't thrown for 200 yards in a month. Baker is struggling right now.
It was right about the time everybody's like, is Baker an MVP candidate?
Yeah.
It was like, it's like Wile E. Coyote running off the cliff, but he's not going to fall until he looks down. It's like they said MVP, Baker looked down.
That lasted like almost 3 weeks probably.
Yeah. So, all right. I'm going to switch the order of this one because I know, Florio, you have thoughts about this player. So, Brian Thomas Jr. against the Jetropolitans.
He's option dependent, but I do think he's a upside shot if you're going a little bit deeper because yesterday, and I think Jacoby Myers being there helps Brian Thomas Jr. a lot because they don't need to ask Brian Thomas Jr. to do all the wide receiver 1 stuff. Now they could just be like, bro, run downfield. He averaged yesterday a season high 24 air yards per target, 3 yards per route ran was his best in any game this year. And it happened because they gave him a season high 4 targets on go routes. That led to all of his yards. Whereas last season, he had the most production on any route. It was on go routes. So I think having Jacoby run the more complicated routes and leaving Brian Thomas Jr. to just be a field stretcher gives him upside, and it is the best way to utilize him. Now, that being said, I'm not playing him over just anyone, right? Like it's got to be the right situation. But I do think the arrow is pointing up.
Hey, just say it because LaQuan's going to ask you the question. So
I'm playing Jefferson over him.
Okay, great. Let's just get that.
I was not going to ask that. That's not even a draft situation that's possible to happen. I'm just saying. All right,
okay. I just was making sure because I just didn't.
Trades happen.
I agree. Like I'm looking at Brian Thomas Jr. more so of how I looked at Alec Pierce these last couple of weeks. Like the yards are going to be there because they're only throwing him downfield. All his opportunities were big chunk plays that they were trying to get him involved. Like how Florio was saying, Jacoby Myers has been this guy that can make a mid-tier quarterback look good. That's kind of what his route and bag is. Like Jacoby is doing pretty much everything that they wanted Brian Thomas Jr. to do. Now, looking at 2026, this brings up another question that, we'll probably have to iron out in the offseason.
Where are we drafting BTJ? Yeah, I feel like we definitely overinflated that back half of his rookie season.
I'll say this. I'm drafting Jacoby Myers over BTJ. Like, no matter where the ADP falls, like, I'll probably fade BTJ for Jacoby Myers.
That seems reasonable.
I mean, it's
not bad. He's safer.
Again,
it
depends a lot on ADP, but
you got to look at the quarterback. Who's throwing him the ball, Florio? At a consistent rate, is that going to happen?
Jacoby is safer, but I do think BTJ has more upside.
Wrinkle in this whole thing, though, is Jacoby Myers is going to be a free agent, so also depends on where he is, too, what happens. Last one here before the break, LaQuan, Kyle Pitts against the Buccaneers.
Yes, I have no options. I lost Zach Ertz. I am at the point now where look, Rondé Gaskins, where you been? Are you in the room with us? I mean, hopefully Monday night.
We'll find out tonight, I guess, right?
Right. So Kyle Pitts, purely volume is what we're strapping to. I mean, the Bucs red zone defense is one of the worst defenses in the NFL, so there could be scoring opportunities if Kirk O'Chain shows up and gets them in striking distance. But who knows? But Kyle Pitts, I've been riding with him all season. I'm gonna ride him until Titanic ship goes down to the bottom.
I might need you guys to stage an intervention on my behalf for this week. Kirk Cousins is on my list of sleepers.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a week where I listed like if you in the start sit like streaming option, and there's some bad quarterbacks who might be.
It's bleak, man. It's bleak. It is rough. We'll see.
Tyler Shook.
I will say this: I put Shuck and Shador in the sleepers column last week, and it worked out on both occasions. So
I know we don't have him on the rundown, but man, Shador balled out this week.
All right, I wasn't going to talk about it. Let's get into it for a quick minute before we hit this break. Because I watched that game and he was good. The Titans defense is bad.
Yes.
I like that they opened things up a little bit more for him. And maybe some of that was that the weather wasn't as bad as because the previous week against the 49ers, the weather was bad. It was cold. It was windy. The Niners, not a great defense, but they're certainly better than the Titans. They opened some things up for Shador. They did let him take some shots downfield. He took a few deep shots. He took, one to Jerry Jeudy. He took a couple to Harold Fannin. It's still a very simplified offense for him. But he is succeeding within the framework of that simplified offense. I saw something this morning asking, did the Browns find their franchise quarterback? And I'm like, let's pump the brakes on this.
I'll just say this.
Let's slow down.
He shared the field with the number 1 overall pick and was the best quarterback in that game.
He was, but also the Titans don't have a Myles Garrett equivalent.
No, that's true.
They
he's airing the ball out. Like, he's better than Dylan Gabriel. I never want to see Dylan Gabriel 100%. Play another game if Shador is healthy. And they already said he's not this year.
He's definitely not playing this year. So, yeah, I will credit him for succeeding within the framework of the offense. I will say that they are still keeping it very basic for Shador right now.
He put up better numbers than Joe Flacco did.
I will say this, he did things that I wanted to see from him since his Colorado days. He threw the ball away when things weren't there. He took off and ran a couple of times, had a rushing touchdown. So, those are the two things that I wanted to see from Shador, and I saw them. So, the arrow's pointing up.
I just want to say,
fine.
The Titans defense all day were doing and he had a historic performance against you guys. Like, maybe chill out.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Anytime somebody gets their shots on him, that's going to happen. So we'll see next week because the Bears, they are aggressive in terms of trying to get interceptions. And Shador will throw the ball into harm's way occasionally. So that's something to sort of watch out for. All right, time to talk about some player movements. Before we get into this, LaQuan, your thoughts on non-playoff teams on the waiver wire?
I like it because you can still play defense. You can block in, and every single week matters, even if you're in a loser's bracket, because you're trying to stay out of last place. Some of them last place punishments are foul. So I would do whatever I can if I need to jump on the waiver wire to stay out of last place.
All right, Florio, you just waved it off like an incomplete pass.
I think they should, if you have a consolation or last place punishment, sure. You could go after Wednesday when waivers run because your season is over, right? Like, you're not still alive. You're playing for something to be entertained and stuff, but when you pay your league fee, you pay for up to week 14. You got to earn after that to keep playing. That's mine.
I feel
that's
like
crazy work.
Because what if I'm in the playoffs, right? And I'm just going to use LaQuan as an example here. LaQuan doesn't want me to win. He could block me because like that's collusion.
because you're
in my
bad.
opinion.
Also, because you're a bad team. Also, because you're
That's
a bad team.
collusion blocking?
Yeah, if we're not playing each other and you just are like, I don't want Florio to win, I'd rather someone else in the league win. Yeah, that's not how you manage a team all year long. You're not making moves to stop.
Is that a rule? Is there a rule there?
There's a rule against no collusion. And if you're colluding, if you're purposely doing something to block a team that you're not even in the bracket against, yeah, that's not
Last time
what
I heard
fantasy
collusion was when two league mates are planning against another league mate in a trade.
And are you
or
not planning against someone for picking someone up solely because you don't want to see another team win?
It's me and you that I'm doing it.
If we're playing each other and you're alive in the bracket or something, sure. But if you're out of it and your only goal is to be like, I don't want this one team to win, that's not what
I don't want
for.
anybody to win if I'm not winning.
I do like Florio's idea of, okay, you know what? The waiver period is for playoff teams and then the free agent market opens for everybody else. Especially because if you are a team that's out of the playoffs, you're going to have a higher waiver priority anyway.
Exactly.
So that sort of gives them. So my thought is, one, first off, you should expressly make a rule about this in your league before the season starts. Before the season starts, like you make the rule. This is what it is.
All have
you can
this
or you
rule.
cannot. Right? However, if there is no rule, I will say this. I don't think it's illegal, but I do feel like it's a little bit sus, a little bit shady, a little bit unethical.
What?
It's a little bit unethical. It's not illegal, just unethical, right? That's all. Just say it's unethical.
I put it out every year on Twitter. There's always a few LaQuans that don't agree with it, but for the most part, people, they understand. Like, that's how it would work in the NFL as well.
I'm not trying to be in last place. Like, some of the league last place punishments are foul. I'm not doing it, bro. I'm going to do what I can. If it hurts your chances of winning, oh well.
You still free agency. You still have a chance to
I'm hitting the waiver.
Get in there.
I'm hitting the waiver like the rest of the league in week 15, 16, 17.
Like I said, make the rule before the season starts.
My home leagues
it's not illegal. It's just unethical. That's it. All right, enough of that. Let's get to the drop zone. LaQuan, who are you dropping?
I'm dropping Troy Franklin because I feel like now to the point where we are looking at these last couple of weeks, right? It's been Pat Bryant. We look at yesterday where he only played 25% of the snaps. Wowzers. These last couple of weeks, Pat Bryant has came in as the wide receiver too, where he's showing up in the run game and pass blocking, which they coined him as a guy that takes passion in that. We're seeing a guy that gives you a little bit more after the catch. Way they're using Troy Franklin, they're trying to get the deep shots on him, right? Where you have Pat Bryant as the underneath wide receiver, where he's giving you yards after the catch. He's getting 5 yards after the catch per reception right now. That is up there with some of the elites in the league right now. So I'm looking at Pat Bryant being the wedge between Troy Franklin being trusted in fantasy rosters in the fantasy playoffs. So I'm dropping him to pick up that second defense, to pick up a Jaguars, to pick up a Saints DST. In those leagues where I need to have that matchup base between, having another defense where week 1 of the playoffs, week 2 of the playoffs, week 3 championship, I can alter through these defenses. So Troy Franklin, you got to get the boot.
All right. Okay, so you're dropping him for a defense. You're not dropping him for Pat Bryant. Okay,
no.
That feels like,
No, that would be me trusting Sean Payton, giving me what I actually want and the players that I like.
That's when Marvin Mims starts getting targets at that point.
No.
All right, Florio, who are you dropping?
DJ Moore. I feel like I've had him on this list at different times this year, but yesterday was the final nail in the coffin, in my opinion. This was a game where Roma Dunze was not out there. This was a game where the Bears they had a lead early on. No, I'm sorry. They never had a lead in this game.
They never led. Yeah.
They were trailing throughout. And what did DJ Moore? Caleb threw the ball 35 times. What did DJ Moore finish with? 3 targets, 1 catch, -4. Are you kidding me? -4 yards in a game where game script was on your side and you should have been the number 1. Like, we're seeing Luther Burden be more utilized than him. We're seeing Colston Loveland be more utilized than him. And for a while, I was like, all right, well, it's because Rome is playing that wide receiver 1 role. Nope. Ben Johnson just hates DJ Moore for whatever reason. He cannot figure out how to use him.
He's the DeAndre Swift in Detroit.
Yeah, like it's so frustrating. And I have one league where my wide receivers are bad. And DJ Moore has been, like, my top 2 are good, but that third spot has been bad. And DJ Moore occupied it yesterday. And I'm like, I don't care if I have to play Jerry Jeudy over you next week. You are not, I don't want to see you in my lineup.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's been bad.
I'm dropping DJ Moore this week to pick up Ryan Florio. Because
that is where we're at. And I don't blame you at all.
And that's going to be the conversation, too, because, like, keeping up with CeeDee Lamb being in concussion protocol and whether or not he's going to be available to play.
Yeah.
We'll see. So, right. Yeah,
that's how nasty it is,
we haven't mentioned. I
mentioned him last week saying that'll be one of the players I wouldn't start. And then, of course, he goes off. I mean,
of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah. I was looking. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is still rostered in over 50% of NFL.com leagues. Like, what are we doing? Why? What are we doing? We have long since passed that portion of the program. I mean, like the house lights have come on. The custodial staff is sweeping up. Like, leave the theater. It's over, man. Like the
party's over. The cops are here. The cops
wait to see if something happens after the credits and like
it is
there is no end credits.
They've already said the Avengers will return next year. Like, it's done. Like, go home. Like, what are we doing?
No, there's something coming. Trust me.
I know he's got a cute nickname. I don't know if this is like the Nicktoons crowd, like hanging out waiting for Lil Bill love or something. Like, it's over, man. Like, Chris Rodriguez is the lead back. I mean, look, I'm not saying it's great with Chris Rodriguez, but he's the lead back there. Jeremy McNichols is number 2. Like, Krosky-Merritt is a solid number 3 running back in an offense that's not particularly good. It was fun, that ride we had, those 1 or 2 weeks. It was exciting to get back to, but it's a wrap. Like, we got to let this go. If
his name was like Ja'Cory Johnson and he didn't have a cool nickname, he would have been dropped a long time ago.
No, you know what? It would have been one of those things where after his big games, we would have been begging people, like, pick this dude up, pick him up. I mean, we still would have been like, drop him now. But
one of my friends calls it the cool name theory, and it is very true. The cooler the name, the more people get excited.
That is true. Yeah. We should start creating nicknames for people. Like, we should come up with a nickname for Jacoby Brissett just to get people to pick him up.
Hey, I mean, if Tyrone Tracy is Paul Pierce, anything is possible.
Wow. Let's tap into the folks at Pro Football Reference, see what they can do for us. All right, before we get out of here, Florio, quick rundown of the waiver wire options.
I told you QB is gross, right? But Fields, Tyler Shuck, JJ McCarthy, Shador Sanders. These are names if you're going. Riley Leonard, apparently. These are names if you are going deep.
Say his name.
Get him a nickname. At running back, Kyle Monungai is still sub 60% rostered. I don't understand how. Blake Corum needs to be picked up, like LQ said. Devin Neal, Jalen Wright. I know they're saying that Achane should be good this week, but Jalen Wright had a lot of volume. Keaton Mitchell, if anything happens to Derrick Henry, we're looking at an RB1.
Pick up Keaton Mitchell.
Yes. Dylan Sampson, Tyler Algier, Ray Davis, Ty John, get your handcuffs. It is that time of the year. At receiver, Christian Watson still is very under rostered, even though I don't love his matchup next week. Chris Godwin, Devon Vele, Rashid Shaheed getting more usage. Chimere Dike, Ryan Flournoy, Jerry Jeudy, all guys that we'd all rather have than DJ Moore right now. And then tight end is low-key kind of deep this week because Harold Fannin Jr., Brenton Strange, Darren Waller, I think are just straight hiccups. And then Isaiah Likely, Luke Musgrave, Mason Taylor getting more volume and good matchups. Those are like deeper league streamers, but yeah, there's options at tight end this week.
Yeah, tight end, I mean, it's not, I won't say it's great, but there's a little more help, I think, around the way at tight end that we saw earlier in the season.
I wanted to add one running back. I wanted to add one running back real quick. Yeah. Ollie Gordon. I think Ollie Gordon's worth a pickup back. You can spin the back block on him.
Yeah.
They used Jalen Wright so much yesterday. I was shocked by
he looked good. He looked good.
I do want to update. Harold Fannin Jr. is 10 points away from being a top 5 tight end right now.
Wow. Wait, what was the
he would go wager? Full blonde. Oh my God.
Are we going to do this back-to-back years? Are we going to do this back-to-back years? Let's look at the schedule real quick. I was going to wrap up the show. Let's look at the schedule.
God.
So Brock Bowers has the Eagles, the Texans, the Giants to finish out the fantasy. Are we going to week 18? We're going to week 18 as well? Because you got
I'll let LQ
Texans,
decide, but I feel like 17 should be.
All right, so Eagles, Texans, Giants for Brock Bowers. It's kind of a middling schedule. Harold Fannin has Bears, Bills, Steelers. The Steelers are bad against tight ends. Week 17.
He's been balling out with Shador.
Week 17.
My God.
You know who's the one that might fall out? Tyler Warren.
Ooh, Tyler Warren struggling.
That actually might be reality. Oh my gosh.
Tyler Warren struggling.
Guys. I did it again. What are the chances?
This is
whichever tight end LaQuan says before the year he will dye his hair blonde, you better draft next year.
Wow. My goodness. This is a perfect way to end the show. This is amazing.
Wow.
All right, so Fannin Watch is on. Fannin Watch is on for the final few weeks of the season. I'm glad we got something to
LQ,
really
you
cheer
could call it. Are we going to 17 or 18?
Let's do 17, please.
I say 17, man, because that gives you a better shot of you don't want that one extra game. You don't want that one extra game in there. Call it 17.
17.
All right, here we go.
Wow.
Oh, game bleeping on. Here we go. All right, that'll do it for this edition of the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. Stay happy, safe, and healthy. Do good and live well. Stock up on hair dye, everybody. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.